Human beings,
and don't think for a second that the fact that
human beings, it is wrong to trap the glory of the soul in your ego and see the things that you're doing for devil and Satan's money is great. That gentleman who was playing politics and got a father murdered because of games of politics. Did I say? Okay, I'm sorry. The asshole who was playing politics in Pennsylvania and got a gentleman murdered by playing politics, and it's sad because that man showed up for the game and he shouldn't have showed up. He should just stayed at home with his family. Okay, because time with your family is the most precious of all gifts that we have through life. Okay, not showing up at great rallies, not showing up in Chicago with 1 million people all excited because Barack Obama's the new Ronald McDonald or Colonel Sanders with brown face, right? Who gives a fuck? What an asshole, right? Now, the Lord's Prayer, okay? The Lord's Prayer is the deliverance from evil. You can go read it, okay? Now, if Donald Trump prayed in the White House while he was president, and if he was actually listening to the Lord, this eternal spirit of the Lord, okay, he'd have honored that, right? And the president now is a Catholic. Okay, so he has no excuse. He's a lifelong Catholic. He talked about it on 60 Minutes. He has no excuse to accept Pope Benedict and Francis as the person on earth who's most like Lord Jesus Christ. Okay? And deny the deliverance from evil of the Lord's Prayer, right? He has no excuse. Well, none whatsoever. He's a Catholic. Okay. Like Mahmoudinejad and the president of Iran. They have no excuse to be building nuclear weapons and threatening to kill people and abuse and torture women because of economic conflict and tribal traditions of economic conflict and social position that judge a man by the women in his life's sexual expression. You teach your daughter to respect herself and to be worthy of respect and trust of others, and she becomes a whore. You don't kill her. You just tell her, you didn't even listen to me. I might as well be dead to you. And then turn away from her. Okay? That's what you do when you're a man. Okay? When you're someone like David and Daniel and Solomon. Okay? Did Lot kill his wife? Okay. No. Did Jesus kill Mary Magdalene? No. Okay. Jesus said, "He without sin cast the first stone," and everybody dropped their rocks and took their sorry asses home, right? Right? Because Jesus was strong enough and brave enough to stand up for people to save them from hypocrites and heathens, right? Right? Okay. So I got mad. I yelled over there with my dad because he's more concerned about Donald Trump getting a shot than his son getting his balls rotted off at the soup kitchen in Las Cruces by a bunch of perverts in the military. And, they have, we're going to vote for that stuff and we're going to do this and stuff. My dad shouldn't have to have Alexa in his bathroom. Okay. So people that have money for a cell phone can come over and make sure he's not on the ground. Okay. He had one time where he fell in his bathroom and I didn't hear him, and I give him privacy over there. And he was down there for about an hour. And then he finally got himself up and moved out of the bathroom. Okay. And it was exhausting. And I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Dad, I didn't know. I thought you were taking a nap. I didn't want to bother you," because he takes long naps. And I don't want to wake him and bother him because sleep and rest is very important. All right. So, and I'm in a very difficult situation because of technology and economics. There are a bunch of little perverts in this valley that want to try to emasculate me and make me feel inadequate and feel like I'm not a strong, good, protecting, love, honest, courageous, faithful person. And then the reflection of their ego is every asshole billionaire on TV trying to talk about, and they all talk about it too. I'm going to work real hard to win and win lots of games. I'm going to sell lots of cars, lots of booze, lots of drugs, lots of cell phones, and promote the fact that women can make $1 million through sex videos, or make millions of dollars about talking about dysfunctional sex lives and say, don't you wish you had enough money to have a dysfunctional sex life with me? No, I don't. And I don't want to go on Celebrity Family Feud. And I don't want to meet any of you face to face. And you shouldn't want to meet me, okay? When all this is done, I would definitely like to see have Patrick meet Matt. I still remember that day when I was walking to the Zool to put on videos, and I met Matt and Jalen, and I think Trayvon was there and stuff like that, but I remember Matt and Jalen the most. Jalen was tall and very quiet and has this really quiet, sweet demeanor to him. And tried to get him to talk, and he hardly said a word. But Matt's very he's a people person. He likes to talk. He'll talk about it, and he was very cool about his teammates. So no, we knew each other in Canada, and he's a lot like who Kevin Durant is. His game's a lot like Kevin Durant's, and he was telling about everybody. He talked the least about himself. Okay. Then I found out he's a lockdown defender, and he can jump out of the gym, and he's an excellent dunker, and. No one said anything about him. He said everything about everybody else. Okay. He's a sweet kid. Okay. So, I'd love to see Daniel and Matt again. And, and at the barbecues. And I know we'll have Ronaldo there, and Bontasai and Ernst LaRoche. Okay. And some of their friends. If Wendell McCannis wants to come along, and Tyrone Watson and some of the other guys. Then yeah, you guys are more than welcome to the barbecues and hang out with Gabe and Mike and Isaac and Elijah and the kids. So I don't think Randy Brown realizes when he met Jordan Menegas and gave him the tour around the Chicago Bulls organization of facilities that he was taking the Messiah's nephew around and showing him some respect. Okay, because the bravest, most faithful, kind, courageous human being in the history of the United States that we have any scientific collective evidence of is that young man's uncle, Uncle Earl. All right. Uncle Earl's not afraid of anything or anyone. Uncle Earl is like King David. He's a living embodiment of the Lord's Prayer. Okay, his thoughts, words, and actions and faith are deliverance from evil. Okay. Is it an evil petting zoo? And you watch these poor deluded people like Lionel Messi. Okay. No, Pele was better than him. Pele was better than Ronaldo. Okay. I watched Pele when I was young and watched his old things in 1960s and stuff when he was like 16 or 17 years old, and he was the first to score on our way. And his pace and his ability, those grown men that tried to hurt him, because the rules were different then, it was like Jordan rules, but Pele rules, because it was a poor country called Brazil, right? And they would try to hurt him, okay? And he would have to use his ability and his wits and his pace to score against these grown men that were trying to physically hurt him because he was embarrassing them on the pitch. Okay, and in Pele's time, they could physically try to beat you up to win for marketing. It wasn't like nowadays with Michael Jordan. It wasn't like with Larry Bird and Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan when they started getting the Jordan rules and you can't hurt him. He's the league. If you'll make $300 million a year being the Washington Generals just trying to beat the Bulls because everybody comes to the arenas and watches the playoffs to watch Michael, right? And it wasn't like that back when Pele played. When Pele played, it was just fighting to see who could be the top hot dog, popcorn, beer vendor at the big arenas and in the environments where they had enough money to fill their arenas. And the economic center of the world was not Sao Paulo, Brazil. Okay? So, and he didn't have Dr. J didn't have the medicines and the surgical procedures to put him back out on the court to keep being this greater than LeBron James, Michael Jordan type guy that was, Michael Jordan had much more advanced surgical procedures to keep him great at being the biggest car salesman, drug salesman, beer salesman, and insurance salesman in the history of, hey, buy our packaged foods and eat at our restaurants and go to our hotels. Go to a Verbo. You'll get rewards for it. Hotel, motel, Holiday Inn. Say if your girl starts acting up, then you take her friend. You bunch of nothing but a whole cake factory of pathetic, egotistical motherfuckers and father murderers. Okay? You'd kill your own father to fuck your mother and have everybody pay you money, lots of money, to watch you do it. And if you don't believe that, it's too late to turn back now. All right? Yeah, I don't have women in the palm of my hand. I have women wanting to be loved by men like me because I'm a man that loves women and children, and you ought to learn to be somebody that loves women and children the way I do, and love your brother and your father, and honor your mother and father when they give you true faith in God.